Hello everyone, welcome to StraightA. Dawson here, back with another video here today, and we are recapping NFL Week 2, and holy fucking moly, guys. What a week of upsets. I mean, like, in predictions, the best record was 9-7. That's counting the betting line. The betting line went 8 for 8, and it never goes 8 for 8. The only other time I saw the betting line go 8 for 8 in a week was last year's Week 1. Worst case, it's at 9-7. Most of the time, it's like 11-5, 10-6, 12-4 is a common one. Like, I just cannot believe it. The betting line was 8-8, and that just shows you the amount of fucking upsets that happened this week. So insane, and lots of things to talk about. So before we get started, though, leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and comment any suggestions for future videos below. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Go ahead and start off with the unfortunate part of, hey, prayers up for Tua. Tua apparently just got news that he plans on playing by week 8, so we'll see if that happens. I'm getting a little bit worried about him. Listen, I shit on the Dolphins. I shit on him a little bit, but man, he's a quarterback I want to see do well. He's just a quarterback I want to see. I don't know, he's a fun-loving guy. You know, I don't think he's the best quarterback in the world, but he's a fun guy to cheer for. Himself, I don't necessarily love the Dolphins as much right now. I think they're fun, but whatever. Overhyped is kind of where I'm getting at. Either way, prayers up for him and his family and all that good stuff. Josh Allen did not throw him very much because James Cook absolutely fucking cooked the defense of the Dolphins. It just was not pretty at all. Not even going to talk about the pass game. The defense for the Bills was the defense for the Bills, so nothing new there. Even before Tua was off the field, he did throw 3 picks, so not very good. Skylar Thompson was just trying to make something out of nothing. He's probably not going to be very good in the meantime, so I doubt the Dolphins will do amazingly well. Devon Achane, though, very, very good. Tyreek Hill, of course, did not get off because he was like the main guy being locked down. So Devon Achane really took a lot of those snaps away. Jonnu Smith also made an appearance, a couple good plays from him. So good to see that the tight end is actually getting involved. And again, I'm seeing this whole offense get more people involved rather than just Tyreek and Jalen. So that's very, very good to always see. But man, Dolphins, their playoff hopes might have just been extinguished here. First of all, the many upsets. I guess, was Dolphins an upset? I think Dolphins was technically an upset, but oh well. The Vikings beating the 49ers. The Vikings actually might be a good football team. For one, the 49ers did not look very good. Brock Purdy, people say he played worse than he did. He didn't play that bad. He played very fine. Jordan Mason, great run game. Deebo Samuel got involved. George Kittle got in the end zone. Brandon Ayuk was there. It was really the defense. Even the defense did, like, if I had to say there's a weak point for the 49ers in this game, is defense, but probably more the secondary than even the fucking defensive line. And even then, the fucking secondary got an interception. It just turns out the Vikings play smarter ball. Sam Darnold's not bad at all. Actually, he might be one of the better quarterbacks this year so far. Holy fucking shit. Ty Chandler ran his best game probably his whole career. Aaron Jones was inefficient on the ground. Justin Jefferson caught like a 97-yarder. Good for him. Jalen Naylor with, placing Jordan Addison's great. Aaron Jones was involved in the receiving game, granted. And the defense from the Vikings was just gritty. They put pressure on Brock. They made big plays and capitalized on them. And they just did not let the 49ers make third down conversions all too often. The Vikings just played smarter ball. And they played extremely smarter ball because to beat a team like the 49ers who didn't play bad. They didn't play bad at all. They played probably about maybe what you'd expect to against the Vikings. But the Vikings just outperformed them and just eked out that victory. So good for the Vikings. Seriously, a lot of things just went wrong in the 49ers, in the Vikings' favor. So, good for them. Vikings, I may have slept on you a little too much. Seahawks, Patriots, I'm not very, very enthused about this one. But Geno actually had one of his better games. Very good highlights from him. Zach Charbonnet, very inefficient. Kenneth Walker, they're praying for Kenneth Walker to come back very soon. DK, he looked like Justin Jefferson this game. Amazing. JSN is the clear 2. Sorry, Lockett, you're in the past now. JSN, it looks fucking like fantastic. The defense for the Seahawks looks about the same. There's nothing to note there. The Patriots, while they didn't make a big decline, they made a slight decline, and it just was not enough to beat out the Seahawks, despite their good performance last week. Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson, great duo. Gibson did pretty damn well. So, are we going to see him more? Or was this kind of just more of a split game? I don't know. I liked seeing Gibson in this game. Ramondre is still fun and explosive, but Gibson was fun. Gibson was a lot of fun. Hunter Henry, the story of the week because I think he had like 68% of the targets total, and like he was amazing. So great for Hunter Henry. I think he's going to be a very good tight end for Jacoby Brissett. Jalen Polk got the only touchdown, but otherwise it was fucking lights out. I mean, Hunter Henry had 10 or 100 out of 144 or whatever. What was the passing yard? 149 passing yards. That's fucking insane. So he's definitely a great guy. Great player on this fucking team. Patriots defense actually did pretty well. The Seahawks just managed to capitalize in the receiving game, which really helped them. Giants and Commanders. The Giants scored 3 touchdowns. Didn't sign a kicker or bring a kicker in because Graham Gano, if you didn't know, rhymed, got injured. Don't know how that happens. Then they decided that they're going to go for extra points this game, or go for 2-point conversions rather than extra points this game, because they figured they didn't have somebody who kicks 15 yards, field goals. So very curious. So that limited the Giants in a completely different manner, but it really didn't matter because the Giants were actually doing decently well. And then just because like if they did all this stuff like they did, this would be a 24-21 game. If they just had somebody like Daniel Jones fucking kick the field goal or the extra point. It just blew my mind, and I was wondering at first why they weren't going for the extra point, and then why they were going for 2 extra points. And then I realized, oh, they don't have a kicker. Okay, well, why don't they have any former kicker, any soccer player former, like anybody? Crazy. Commanders, though, this is deceptive because you would almost think, oh my gosh, 3 touchdowns. No, it's a touchdown in this game for the Commanders. It's 3 field goals. Jaden Daniels was good. People keep on shitting on him because he's not doing fantastic things. He's being safe and good on the ground. That's all you really need for this. And Brian Robinson Jr. eats on the ground. He's absolutely destroying defenses. Zach Ertz is the tight end guy. He is the target there. Terry McLaurin, out of there. Zach Ertz, up there. Terry McLaurin's still going to get some love. But, man, it's hurting. Commanders defense, not very good. Honestly, was not very good this game. But the Giants were just fucking worse. Daniel Jones, 178 for 2, fine. Dead Singletary, actually really efficient. If he ever gets a starting job somewhere other than a bad O-line in the fucking Giants and Rams nowadays, he's going to do great. Receiving, Malik Neighbors, again, for some of these games, randomly one player will just get like 60% of the targets. And Malik Neighbors was this guy, and he's destroying people. I'm sure he won't do this every week, but against Commanders, he can definitely fucking do that. Defense for the Giants, whatever. I guess they sacked the fucking quarterback a lot, Jaden Daniels. The O-line for the Commanders not very good either, is what I'm learning. But it's better than the Giants, even though they didn't let up as many sacks. I don't know. It's a weird fucking week. Commanders win. Moving on. Chargers, Panthers. Chargers, Justin Herbert, he just didn't get a chance to throw a lot because they were winning. J.K. Dobbins is a beast. Gus Edwards is not a beast. Yeah, I shouldn't shit on Gus Edwards. I like Gus Edwards. He just is not as much of a beast as J.K. Dobbins, who rushed for 131 yards and 1 touchdown. Quentin Johnston came back to life. I mean, nothing really changed. He just got more targets, it feels like. So, kind of kicking down Ladd McConkey a little bit. Josh Palmer didn't get a lot of love. So I'm kind of curious how that receiving core for the Chargers actually will pan out. My guess is Ladd McConkey will still step up in the number 1 role, but Joshua Palmer may lose that second spot to Quentin Johnston. So interesting to see. Chargers defense didn't perform like anything spectacular, but it just stopped the Panthers. That's all they needed to do. And that's what they did. Panthers couldn't throw the ball more than 2 yards, apparently, and they don't trust Bryce Young. He throws an interception. He got 84 yards, and now he's benched. Andy Dalton, welcome to the team. So this Panthers team could do better now. I don't know how much better, but they could do better. Chuba Hubbard, actually pretty efficient on the ground. Miles Sanders not as efficient, but when they actually got to run the ball, Chuba was pretty good. And this is pretty early on in the game. Receiving, though, everybody suffers. I'm not even going to look at it. It sucks. Panthers defense also sucked. Like, they got 1 interception from J.C. Horn, the one good defensive player on that team. Maybe Shaq Thompson. Shaq Thompson's pretty good. Okay, Javian Clown, he's pretty good. I forget the secondary of this team is actually not awful, by the way. Because I was like, oh, wow, they actually have J.C. Horn. Oh, they have Javion Clowney. Oh, interesting. Cool. Yeah, Panthers suck. Chargers 2-0. So, be curious for my power rankings there. Saints destroyed the Cowboys. Saints actually might be legit. I don't have many bad takes. I have a lot of bad takes. But the Saints being bad was not one of my hot takes, I thought. But now, they're going to make me regret it. I do think that the Saints will simmer down. But I think they're closer to the Dolphins last year than they are to themselves last year. So, like, it's just a very strange thing because Derek Carr is just making very, very good throws and efficient throws. He's just going for something big and exciting with Rashid Shaheed. Alvin Kamara is converting, on the ground. Kamara has never been this efficient. Derek Carr's never thrown these many long-winded dots. He usually throws picks when he throws those, which he did throw a pick. Rashid Shaheed is amazing, which I know we already knew he was kind of good, but like, man, he's actually really good. Chris Olave got a lot more love this game. Alvin Kamara, of course, in the receiving game, still getting love as well. Defensively, Saints are fine. That's not really where they won. Even the Cowboys just played like shit. Dak Prescott, 293, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. The reason we get so many yards is because they were fucking behind the whole game. The Saints destroyed them in like the first half, and the Dak Prescott throws like a meteor fucking pass every play. So whatever. The rushing team is now being split free evenly, but they didn't get a chance to even develop anything. CeeDee Lamb got a lot of love. Jalen Tolbert got a lot of love. Everybody else is fine. Defense from the Cowboys, non-fucking existent. The Saints absolutely destroyed them, and the Cowboys should feel bad. The Saints should feel really good. Packers with Malik Willis did not win with Malik Willis. They won with Josh Jacobs, who is fucking great. Whoever said that he's bad, I never said he was bad. Personally, I feel like I'm talking like Donald Trump now. I never said he's bad. Everybody else said he was bad. No. Josh Jacobs was damn good, and they're giving him the volume, and they're just winning. That's all you need. They're just winning. Malik Willis isn't awful. He's not making stupid mistakes. So he's doing what they ask him to. Romeo Doubs, very safe target. Everybody else, just getting some targets here and there. Defensively, Packers are just Packers. I mean, nothing to comment on there. The Colts absolutely suck. Is what really, I can't even say that the Packers defense is well. Is the Colts offense not doing well? Anthony Richardson is just not doing good. Jonathan Taylor is good. He's the one good thing on this offense. Alec Pierce is also very good. Correction. Alec Pierce is very fast and can get down to the only way that Anthony Richardson can complete a pass is 50 yards down the field apparently. And Alec Pierce can do that. So good for Alec Pierce. He's benefiting a lot. Jonathan Taylor is also very good. Everybody else is either not being utilized or sucks. So take that as you will. Colts defense also not very good, by the way. I shouldn't say not very good. They're just not. They just didn't look good. This is a weird game of like nobody looked good except the running backs basically, and like the occasional long deep throw. So like nobody was playing good. So they're just playing like this certain level. It's just crazy. So I guess they kind of look good in comparison. So the Colts defense looked good compared to the Packers defense too. Packers defense looked good compared to the Colts, but if you compare it to anybody else this week, not very good. So very, very curious. Browns Jags, just very, very boring game to be honest with you. Whoops, not recap. I don't want game recaps here. Deshaun Watson, whatever, he played. Jerome Ford, he played. And the Deontay Foreman came in, and out-snapped Jerome Ford. So that'll be curious. But yeah, Jerome Ford is still way more efficient. Jerry Jeudy could be taking over that number 1 spot. Elijah Moore, I don't think will, but maybe Jerry Jeudy's got more to him. Because, I mean, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Mari Cooper's probably still number 1. But still, I'm optimistic. I like Jerry Jeudy. Defense for the Browns is just, the numbers don't show it here, but they just stop the Jags at every questionable turn. And honestly, made Trevor Lawrence look like a fucking fool. I didn't realize it was 14 for 30, so that's pretty damn shit. But Trevor Lawrence was not very good. I don't know if it was due to the Browns defense as much as it was just him not being good. But I'm going to blame the defense a little bit there. Because the Browns defense was getting to him. But I don't know if it was that much. I don't know. I think it's somewhere, a little bit of both. Travis Etienne, he's fine. Browns defense is really tough to run through. So very impressed he did as well as he did. Brian Thomas Jr. is the deep route guy. Gabe Davis is kind of a little bit of both of slot and deep route. Christian Kirk, non-existent. Defensively, I mean, Jags played. I don't want to say they played well. It was, again, more the Browns' offense not doing well, more than anything. Jets versus Titans. Aaron Rodgers, pretty good. I think this was, again, a good reform against a good, tough secondary. Aaron Rodgers played very smart around them. He didn't make a lot of flashy, great catches, but he played very smart, and you could tell he was scheming a team live and adjusting to what the Titans were bringing. Titans' defense is pretty good, especially the secondary, one of the better secondaries in the league. But he played very smart, and that was what we'd like to see. Breece Hall, not very, I mean, he was fine. Braylon Allen, though, came in and ran like a motherfucker. So, Braylon Allen, thumbs up. Good for you. Garrett Wilson, he'll get more love as the weeks go on. Breece Hall was just a good check down guy. Mike Williams, I'm curious to see whether he gets more targets in the future. I think you're still easing him in, but he might be the 2 there. He might actually be a 2 if he stays healthy. So, maybe that. Defensively, fucking Will McDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, took Titans to Pound Town because Will Levis sucks. These numbers are not good. These numbers are not good at all. I guess they're fine, but they're not good. They're not good. Tony Pollard, if only they had a good offensive line, and if only they had a great quarterback, Tony Pollard may be doing well in the rushing game. Who would have thought? This is an offensive line that Tajay Spears would be better in than Tony Pollard, but that's beside the point. Gavin Ridley, also a beast though. He makes anything work pretty good. Tyler Boyd, good third option. That's about it. DeAndre Hopkins was in the game, but not amazing. Again, defense for the Titans doesn't look good on paper in terms of like zeros across the board. They play well. They play very, very well. They scheme against their team very, very good. Bucks and Lions. Very tough game to watch for the Lions perspective. They just couldn't get anything going. There was no steam. Baker Mayfield and the Bucks didn't even play. I shouldn't say fantastic. I shouldn't say anything like positive or negative. They just didn't play fantastic. They played good, smart football. Again, the Bucks outsmarted the Lions, even though I would probably say the Lions outplayed the Bucks. Kind of similar to the Saints, or not Saints. The oh motherfucker, damn it! Why am I forgetting the game? Man. What was the game I referred that to? Oh, Colts and Packers. There we go. I saw it there. I was like, boom. All right. Yeah. It was Colts and Packers. But yeah, Baker was just fine. Baker was just fine. Yeah. Rashad White's not very efficient. Bucky Irvin's a little bit more efficient, so we'll see what happens there. Chris Godwin. Could he be the one? I mean, Mike Evans is being locked down, so Chris Godwin's getting open. So, I don't know. They're pretty damn good. Defense for the Bucks is fine, but again, it was just the Lions not playing well, too. And actually, I'm glad this got brought up here. I'm glad I pulled the stats here because I think it was good to do the Bucks defensive scheme. I've heard that basically they blitz a lot more than other teams, and then obviously the Jared Goff doesn't throw as well. The offensive lines don't do as well under a blitz by far. So they're really susceptible to a blitz. Jared Goff threw 55 times, 307 yards. Oh, that's a lot. You shouldn't be doing that. 2 interceptions. He played pretty sloppy. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. If only they used it more. They didn't. I get it. You don't want to run both these guys to the fucking ground, but like these guys were cooking. These guys were cooking something. They were eating up the Bucs defense, and then they just stopped doing it. So like they would make the weirdest calls. Amon-Ra though is back and reformed. Jameson Williams is still a very good part of this offense. Otherwise, very fine. 4.5 sacks for Aiden Hutchinson, by the way. Random little stat there. The defense for the Lions did very, very good. And the defensive line for the Lions did very, very good. I shouldn't say that the secondary didn't do good, but specifically the fucking defensive line. Aiden Hutchinson would get pressured, another defensive player would pressure Baker Mayfield, and Aiden Hutchinson would just take him down. Crazy game. Lions just made some really weird calls, really stupid mistakes, so we'll see if it happens. Ravens, I don't even know what happened here. I mean, Gardner Minshew did well. I mean, the Raiders played well. Let me just say that. We'll start with that. Raiders played the best football they possibly could, and it showed. The Ravens just didn't perform to the level they needed to. They didn't do what they needed to do. The run game was non-existent for the Raiders because guess what? The run game kind of sucks. So Gardner Minshew just kept on throwing it up. And granted, I don't think the Raiders were behind a whole lot, but it was a close game. So Adams got a lot of love. Brock Bowers was looking like a monster. Jacoby Myers would catch the occasional pass or two. Defense for the Raiders also not bad. Only 2 sacks for Max Crosby and 1 interception. But they were putting some pressure on Lamar. Lamar had no time. Now, granted, it's because Lamar's offensive line sucks. But he did pretty well, all things considering, with how much he was getting pressured. Derrick Henry, when he was allowed to run, was running really well. So we'll see how that happens. Zay Flowers getting a lot of love. Isaiah Likely's reduced down to his role. Mark Andrews came back up. So they're about evened out now about what you would expect. Defensively, the Ravens actually played very, very good. His offensive line for the Raiders not very good. Raiders and Ravens, I didn't realize our names. But they just could not make stops on crucial plays. The Raiders on offense were just playing out of their mind. So good for the Raiders, picking up a win. Don't like them, but moving on. Just want to talk about bad offensive lines. Hopefully we're almost done with bad offensive lines. But the Rams' offensive line actually just did not give Matthew Stafford any time at all. Like, Matthew Stafford had 0 time. 0. They couldn't run the ball with Kyron Williams. They couldn't run with Blake Corum. They couldn't do anything. And all things considering, Matthew Stafford put up a decent stats considering he was able to complete passes at all, period. I'm talking about checkdowns. Like, I'm talking about things that any quarterback should easily be able to do. Is impressive because the offensive line gave him no time. Again, nobody rushed really well. Demarcus Robinson, now that Cooper Kupp is hurt, now that Puka is hurt. Puka's pretty much out until the end of the season. Cooper Kupp should be back in like week 8, week 9. Demarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell will take over that game a little bit. Jordan Whittington, maybe. Tyler Johnson, maybe. It's a lot of unknowns, but I don't know how many passes they're going to be able to complete for a lot of yards. Defensively, I mean, they're about what you would expect. They weren't actually playing that bad until the steamroll, the snowball just caught up to them. Kyler Murray played very, very, very well. James Conner was running out of his mind. Kyler Murray on the ground was also very good. Marvin Harrison Jr. caught like one pass for like 70 yards, and everybody's boasting out that like, oh my gosh, he like did amazing. He got one good, very, very good pass. His yardage very impressive, all done in 1 quarter, I believe. So very, very good. Don't get me wrong. But let's steam it down a little bit. He's getting involvement. He's getting plays, and yes, his points were good. He's not going to see this next week. He's not going to see. He might see half that next week. 1 touchdown, 60 yards. That's about what I expect him to be consistently. He'll get more receptions too. He's not going to be this deep down guy. The Rams defense just sucks. So McBride though, very, very good as well. Defense of the Cardinals. This is where I'm like, is the defense for the Cardinals actually good, or is the offensive line for the Rams just that bad? I think it's the latter, but we'll see. Time will tell. Bengals, Chiefs. Listen, stop shitting on the Chiefs, guys. All right, I get it. The Chiefs are really good, and they're defending champions, back-to-back champions, and everybody wants to hate them because a ref made a call that ended up winning the game. Yes, 100%. Guys, that secondary, that fucking, that player, defensive pass interference by a long shot. And I get it. No one wants any game to end with that type of play. It did, because I think he would have fucking caught it, because that ball was very, very clearly going to the fucking Chiefs, the player, and the Bengals secondary. I don't even know the players involved. The Bengals just smacked his hand out of it, like smacked his hands down, like wrapped up his head. It was very blatant. It was like one of the most blatant calls I've seen. Just give them credit there. I mean, Bengals played very, very well. Let this be known. This was not a week 2 drought week. They played very, very well. Mostly in the passing game. The rushing game just couldn't get much going. But Joe Burrow was playing very well with Mike Gesicki, because Jamar Chase was locked down the whole game. He was not getting much love unless it was quick and to the point. Jermaine Burton caught like 1 for really good yardage, and that's about it. Bengals defense actually played decently well compared to the Chiefs. It wasn't amazing, but they played actually pretty well. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs don't look very good. I know I said last week they played very smart, very good football, but like looking back at that game and looking back at this game, it's giving me more context of something's off. Something is actually kind of off with this team. And it's mostly on offense. The defense, I think, is fine. Now that Pacheco's out, I don't even know what's going to happen there. Carson Steele might be the workhorse. Take it as you will. I say Pacheco's out for 8 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. Rashee Rice is the clear number 1 there. Travis Kelce will get like 1 or 2 games of really good work, and so will Xavier Worthy. Otherwise, it's going to be a Rashee Rice game. And honestly, I think BDG said it best, Nick specifically, that Rashee, without, this offense is starting to look a lot like last year's for the Chiefs. Now, like Isaiah Pacheco's gone. Xavier Worthy's not doing amazing. Marquise Brown's injured. It's just very, very strange. Defense, like I said, it did very, very well. I shouldn't even say very, very well, but this did well. So it's very strange. Chiefs, though, still in the playbook here. Awful game here. I excitedly had the honor of watching it. Fields, whatever. Najee, was good. Jalen Warren was finally back, so he did pretty well. Pat Freiermuth was the main catcher there. The defense for the Steelers ate us up. It doesn't look like it stat-wise. Well, I guess 2 interceptions would do it. But very, very strange. Broncos, Bo Nix, despite what everybody's saying online, this should be one interception. This one interception is not Bo's fault, and it was because the route was ran wrong. And so, like, a defender, so he read the play correctly, but the defender was in the wrong position because Bo didn't. Now it's up to Bo to adjust it accordingly, but he just didn't. He just did his read. They need to trust him a little bit more often, though. When the plays are ran right, the Bo Nix can actually get some yardage, and actually in this game it showed a lot more than last game. So hopefully they lean on him a little bit more as time goes on. The run game was nothing, because they were not getting anything going. Josh Reynolds, probably the number 1 guy there now. Courtland Sutton's kind of out of it, to be honest with you. He's kind of like the Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas Jr. of the Broncos. Little Jordan Humphrey got a lot of love too, so good for him. Defensively, Broncos were just the Broncos. They're fine, but they weren't great. They played enough ball to make sure that the opponent doesn't score 20, but they didn't score enough to get to 20, so take that as you will. Texans, Bears. Good game from Caleb Williams, or not good game for Caleb Williams, good game for C.J. Stroud. I just saw Caleb Williams' names there, and I was like, C.J. Stroud. Good game. Here, I'll start here. Good game for C.J. Stroud against a good defense for the Bears. Cam Akers got in because Joe Mixon's hurt probably for like 1 or 2 weeks, so it shouldn't be long, but Cam Akers came in. Nico Collins, still a beast. Who would have thought? He probably will end up being the leading receiver this year if everything keeps up. Stephon Diggs, he's getting like the certain like looks in the end zone, but if he doesn't get those or doesn't catch those, he won't actually get any points. So we'll see, or any yardage even, or any looks at all, or any targets. That's the word I'm looking for. Bears, oh man, Panthers ruined quarterbacks and the Bears ruined quarterbacks. Caleb Williams did not look good at all. DeAndre Swift did not look good at all. DJ Moore did not look good at all. Despite him catching 6 for 53, did not look good at all. Dunze actually kind of looked all right here. I think he actually got hurt too, so we'll see. This offense for the Bears sucked. I mean, the Bears defense actually did pretty damn good and actually were carrying them for most of it, and eventually just kind of lost it in I think the third quarter. So tell you as you will, Bears will kind of still contend for a wild card, but probably they won't. They will not. They'll be out of contention for the wild card in like week 14, week 15. Falcons, Eagles. Yeah, fuck Jake Elliott. I am now rooting against the Eagles. For context, 2 of my games came down to Jake Elliott scoring 5 or less fantasy points. So it's 5 or less in one league, 7 or less in the other, I believe. And like the last play or something, like going into like the fourth quarter, he was half a point away and 2.5 points away or whatever. They fucking scored a field goal because like Saquon couldn't catch the ball. Anyway, besides the point, that's my own personal gripe. But actually, this is a weird game too. Falcons look better than they did last week. Eagles look worse. So I don't know how to feel about it. So I don't know if it's just being back in the States, the Eagles played worse. I'm not too sure. Kirk Cousins, though, actually looked like a competent quarterback. I think maybe everybody's worrying a little bit too quickly, including me. I included myself there because he's looking a little bit better. He's looking a little bit more smooth, a little bit more mobile. So we'll see. Bijan, efficient as always. Tyler Algier did take a lot of carries away, which was interesting. So we'll see if that continues. Darnell Mooney was like the guy of the game, but it won't continue. Drake London's still the main target there by a decent margin. Raymond McLeod actually is very, very good too. Kyle Pitts getting some love every now and then. Defense for the Falcons was pretty good, especially in the secondary. They weren't allowing all that many bad passes, so that's very good. Jalen Hurts, whatever. He's Jalen Hurts. I'm not going to comment on him. I speak about it for like every little bit. I don't think Jalen Hurts is that good. I don't think he plays that good. I think he's just part of a very clear scheme of Devonta Smith, AJ Brown. That's it. Saquon, good as always. Not as good as his first game, but little can it be like that every game. Devonta Smith, clear number 1 there with AJ Brown out. So he was killing it. He was cooking up. Dallas Goedert, safety play along with Saquon. Eagles defense was fine. Defensively, it's hard to comment on these teams because I feel like they just do what they usually do, and I don't want to comment. Oh my gosh, this happened, and then whatever. It's whatever. Falcons actually could be, as time goes on, if they can get like 4-4 by week 8, or basically 500 by for the 4th or 5th game, or not the 4th or 5th game, the 8th or 9th game. I'd be very impressed because if they can do that, they actually have a very good shot in making the playoffs. So I'm curious. Eagles, I'm not worried about them. I think they'll do just fine. As much as I hate Jalen Hurts, he's not bad either. Like I say, he's not good, but he's not bad either. He's a very competent quarterback. So take that as you will. That's my comments for week 2. Let me know what you think below, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one.